no nation in the world that is poor. No, there is no country in the world that is poor. And there is no one in this world, there's nobody in this world that was born poor. You may be born by a poor parent. That doesn't make you a poor man. Because poverty gotta be based on choice and based on belief system. Poverty should be a result of choice and belief system. You may be born in a family that consider themselves to be poor, but it doesn't make you poor. There is no poor country. I disagree. There is no poor country. There is no poor nation. And I've said this to a lot of people. Someone say, "Oh, we got a poor countries in Africa," and I say, "No, Africa is not a poor place. Africa is not poor. Africa has all it takes to succeed." So why many people in Africa are suffering? They are suffering because they push prosperity away. They push excellence away. Whenever you come to a society that embraces money and knowledge, you will find that such society will be in the bondage of their mind. Many problems Africa is going through today is because Africa lack ideology. They lack ideas. They are not in pursuit of ideas, they are in pursuit of money. And money is the tool of the rich to control the poor, because money exists in the mind of the poor. So I say something, there is no country in the world that is poor. Every nation has all it takes to succeed. There is no poor country. Now look at Dubai. Dubai was once a desert, and somebody see opportunity in Dubai, see opportunity to transform Dubai, and see a picture, this beautiful picture of Dubai in his mind. He created it. It became an ideology that can produce results. So the person see a great opportunity in a desert country. And guess what? The Dubai people, the people of Dubai, saw opportunity. And they take advantage of such opportunity and make Dubai today one of the greater countries in the world. Africa has a great people. Africa has a great resources. Africa has all it takes to succeed. But why are many people in Africa poor? Why are they poor? They are poor because they lack the knowledge and they have the wrong ideology. They have the wrong ideology. And the education system of Africa, many countries, many African nations, the education system in African nation is a problem. Why did I say so? Because there are a lot of education systems in Africa that do believe training the student and preparing them to have a job. They have this attitude of opportunity. They don't have attitude of creating opportunity. They only have attitude of opportunity. They are seekers of opportunity. They seek opportunity. They don't create opportunity. So when you go to the wrong school, you will not become a wise student. Instead of you being a wise student, you become a novice to your world. So back to the main topic. What causes poverty? Of course, the rich will be more richer. The poor will be more poorer. And I say something, what causes poverty? Poverty is a result of wrong ideology, wrong belief system, and wrong culture. Because the culture system of our nation is what produces the real man within us. Are you going to produce a great man, or are you going to produce a poor man? The culture system of our world. We must look at these three vital points. The first thing is the culture system. The second thing is the belief system. The third thing is the attitude. The attitude. Our attitude matters because our attitude contributes to our society. Whether we're going to have a society that is prosperous, a society that is productive, or a society that is full of lawlessness. It began on these three vital key points. And I say it again, if you ever find a poor nation, it's a result of wrong ideology. It's a result of such nation failing to do what they're supposed to do. Because every nation has all it takes to succeed. Africa is not poor. And I disagree that Africa is poor. Africa is not poor because Africa has all it takes to succeed. So, how can Africa succeed? How can Africa bring the best out of him? Bring the best out of Africa. How can African people bring the best out of them? Number one, it began with a transformation of the mind. A transformation of the mind. Because if our mindset is not transformed, if we keep on having this old mindset that was imparted unto us by our forefathers, they told us that we are poor because the white made them poor. You know, they told us they are poor. You know, our forefathers told us they were poor because the white made them poor. That's what it told us. And we have this ideology and belief system that white people don't want Africa to be prosperous. So when you ask every average Africans, what are you going through, what you're going through today, why are you poor? Because the white is suppressing us. Hey, don't dwell in your forefathers' past ignorance. The same ignorance that made them poor. The same ignorance that made them broke. The same ignorance that made them rich. You know, that made them helpless. Don't dwell in such ignorance. The whites are not the problem of Africa. Don't ever believe that the white is the problem of Africa. How long shall we blame the Western countries being responsible for African development? For example, look at Uganda. The current president of Uganda has been in office. He has been in the office for over 30 years. Without bringing nothing, without bringing any proper structure to the people of Uganda. Look at Guinea, Equatorial Guinea. One family has ruled Equatorial Guinea for over 40 years. Look at Cameroon. Now I just want you to look at those countries. Do you imagine the kind of resources Equatorial Guinea has? The kind of resources in Equatorial Guinea. But many lives, many people in Equatorial Guinea are still suffering from poverty. What is the problem? Until we deal with our belief system, nothing is going to change. We must deal with our belief system. If something is going to change in our world, we're going to deal with our belief system, because our belief system decides what our nation, what Africa is going to become. The greatness of Africa began with the way we think. If we think that we are poor, we continue being poor. If we think that we are wise, we continue being wise. There are first structure in African system. And those first structures are what is hurting African nation today. And someone say, oh, but our leaders has been the problem. And I've said this several times that African leaders are not the problem of Africa. The same way we blame the whites is the same way we blame our leaders. The politicians are not the one that build the countries. The politicians are not the one that build our country. We build our country. And today we say yes. Yes to development. Yes to growth. Yes to stability. Yes to our nation growth. Our nation got to grow. It began with us. We must say yes. We must agree. Make up our mind in what we want as a nation. Whether we want to move forward, whether we want to make progress, whether we want to move forward as a nation, we must agree it. And we must say yes. Yes to growth. And yes to prosperity. I said something to someone. There is no nation in the world without a problem. But there is no great nation in the world without solving their problem. There is no nation in the world without a problem. But there is no great nation in the world without solving their problem. We have all it takes to succeed. Are we going to make use of it? We have all it takes to run our nation. Are we saying yes to growth? Are we saying yes to prosperity? Are we saying yes to stability? Who is this bad actors in our society today? When we complain about the crisis in our nation, who is behind it? Who armed them? They are not Americans. They are our own fellow brothers and sisters that arm these terrorist organizations, that arm these bandits, that arm whatever is going on in our society today was sponsored by our own people. So each of us are responsible. We all are responsible in what our nation become. Because we are the architect of our own problem. And also, we are responsible on what our country become. Because we are called as a nation to run a nation and to bring the best out of us. We must agree and we must say yes to change, or we may say no to change. Whatever decision we got to take, we must understand it has something to do with the future of our country. Like I said, there is no poor country. Poverty exists in the mind of the novice. Poverty exists in the mind of men without knowledge, men without advice. There is no man in this world that was born rich. No, there's no child that came out of the mother womb with money. The child may have been born in a rich family, but the child is titled. He has his own will, his own choice to make, either to continue in prosperity or to become poor. Poverty is a choice. Poverty is a choice. Failure is a choice. If you ever see a failed nation, a failed state, it's a result of the choice of the people. It's a result of the choice of our nation. It's a result of the choice that we took yesterday. Result of the choice that we took 2 years ago. And whatever is going to become of our nation today is a result of the choice we're going to make today. We can succeed when we say yes to change. We can fail when we continue with the same pattern that kept our forefathers in poverty. When a nation embraces poverty, automatically such nation will continue in poverty. When a nation embraces prosperity, automatically such nation we continue in prosperity. But one thing we must understand, we must discover our problem. When our problems are discovered, then we got to solve it. If we don't discover our problems, we will never solve it. So what are we going to do? We got to discover the problem of our nation. If the problem is discovered, then let us solve the problem, and we can be able to secure the future of our nation, because it's very important. We are the hope of our world. We are the hope of our nation. We are the hope of this world. We must make up our mind and embrace a structure that can be able to withstand the test of the time, that can be able to withstand the wings of this world. We must have a solid structure and embrace change. If we don't have those structure in place, we cannot be able to have a great nation. And this is something I want us to do. Number one, what kind of change do we want to make? Number two, what is the problem of our nation? Number three, we must embrace knowledge. Embrace knowledge. Number four, transformation of the mind. There must be a transformation of the mind. Development does not begin based on what you see. If development began based on what you see, think of this. There are a lot of African leaders that go to United States, they go to Australia, they go to United Kingdom. And when they come back to Africa, they could not implement what they saw in United Kingdom in Africa. Why? Because they are blind. They are blind. You see, there is no proper development. There is no proper development in every nation without a development of the mind. The mind got to be transformed. The mind got to be positioned in a place of creativity. If the mind is not positioned to think great, to see great things, you will see African leaders. They will never build a good hospital in their country. They will prefer going to abroad for treatment because they are blind. It takes a blind leader to produce a blind leadership. Because whatever you fail to recognize, when a leader fails to recognize change, recognize light, it means that such leader is blind. And if such leader is blind, such leader is not qualified to lead. A leader that cannot influence change is not qualified to lead our nation. A leader that cannot influence change is not qualified to lead our nation. The first thing you must understand, before this man become our leader, he must first be transformed and have a mentality that see light, that recognize light, a mentality that see great things, not a mentality that cause destruction. And that is why I say to Africans, most of our African brothers and sisters, we must have a system that works. A system that's going to choose our leaders, not a system that's going to impose leaders to us. Because the system we have in several African countries is a system that imposes leaders on us, not a system that chooses the kind of leadership that we want in our nation. So we must rise together and make up our mind and say yes to prosperity, yes to growth, yes to unity. Because we have all it takes to succeed. If we are going to be a great nation, this is the right time to make the right choice. If we're going to succeed, this is the right time to make the right choice that will shape the future of our nation. This is the right time. Tomorrow is too late. We're going to make a choice of change. We gotta make a choice of change. We must stop blaming people for our own ignorance. We all must take the responsibility of our own action. Know that we all are responsible in what our nation is going through today. Let us come together and build our country, and we will see that our country has all it takes to become a great nation. And I know we can do it. And as we do it, we will enjoy the prosperity of our nation. Thank you. Take care.